across the land.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another edition of SuperCoach Edge BBL SuperCoach Edition. And on today's episode, we're going to be rolling through in a bit more detail specific players that you could opt for as replacement players for the unavailable Neser and Khan, both of which have thrown a curveball at us. Neser has been selected, if you haven't heard, in the Prime Minister's 11 and will be unavailable for the first 2 of 3 matches to start the Heat season. And Khan, he's unavailable for the entire competition, unfortunately, because he has come down with a back injury. So a couple of key players that we're hoping to start in our lineups are unavailable. So we are here to hopefully help you with a few options that you could use and opt for to, rejig your side and, use as replacements. First off, I want to thank, as always, those people that are tuning in. We've been blown away by the reception and the love and support from all of you who have tuned in, first and foremost, but also subscribe to our channel. And if you haven't heard, we are doing a giveaway when we do hit the 1K subscriber mark. So if you haven't subscribed yet and you want to be in the running to, receive potentially the prize that we are going to be using as a bit of a one-of-a-kind giveaway prize, all you have to do is subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so.
Your ideas are intriguing to me, and I wish to subscribe to your newsletter.
Without further ado, let's get into things. And if you haven't looked at the previous video, which was an updated look at my team as it stands at the moment after removing Neser and Khan, and looking at a couple of other changes that I've had, feel free to go back and look at that video because there is a little bit of a crossover with what we're discussing today. So I used my team virtually as a bit of a guinea pig as to how I was using, the Khan and Neser scenario, strategic-wise, in terms of those players that I have chosen to replace them with. So we will be touching on that today. You'll see my updated team in a moment. We'll probably touch on first and foremost something that we, explained in the previous video was in terms of talking about replacement players, you really need to have a look at the fixture for, how it unfolds, especially in the first 3 rounds of the season. I always try and, plan my trades 3 rounds ahead if I can, or at the very, very minimum 2 rounds in advance. So let's have a quick look at how the early season fixture looks and will unfold. So as you'll see here, of course, as you'll no doubt know off the cuff, the Heat have the triple in round 1. Renegades, Stars, Scorchers and Sixers. They also have a double game round to start the season. So in terms of replacement players, you could look potentially at those teams or players from those teams. But I think in terms of trying to get better bang for your buck, like I explained in the previous video, I'd be looking very, very closely at the likes of the Renegades and also the Stars. But the Stars probably lesser so because they're fraught with danger because they have, of course, their bye in round 2. So off the back of that, you probably wouldn't be, selecting players with any sort of safety because you'd need to obviously have cover for those Stars players in round 2. So I'd be looking here. Potentially you could look at the strikers, but again, you can't go overboard because they have the bye in round 3. So I wouldn't be selecting any more than 4 strikers at this rate, with round 2 in mind. So I guess that is one strategy you could use to the short term, starting with the likes of, say, a Matt Short, and so on and so forth. We'll delve into that in a little moment's time. But for me, looking at the fixture, I am very, very comfortable on settling for some Renegades players, replacing the likes of Neser and Khan specifically. Because, of course, as you can see there, they play 5 games in the first 3 rounds, which is actually 1 more game than the Heat As you can see there, they only play the 4 games in the first 3 rounds, as they have the bye in round 3. And of course, as you can see there, this graphic has been supplied by honeyball.com.au. They do some absolutely awesome work across socials. Check out their website. They've actually released, I think, an e-magazine at the moment as well. It's just chock full of information. They don't sponsor us in any way, shape or form, but just want to give them a quick plug because, as you can see here, they do some fabulous work, and they have helped us out in terms of doing homework and keeping up to date with recent news when it comes to all things BBL. So give them a look, check them out. Consider subscribing if you want. We don't get a kickback or anything. As I said, just out of the kindness of our heart in return for what they're producing, go and check out their stuff. But without further ado, let's jump across to our team, and I'll give a little bit of a zoom in here so you can see what is happening. That is my team as it stands, and as you would have seen if you tuned into the previous video when I did my 2.0 team reveal, the main changes in summary have been Sanger and Connolly coming in for the likes of Siddle and Johnson from the Heat. My main worry is about Johnson from the Heat, even though he does have the triple in the first round for the Heat, is because of the fact that he's returning from injury, and I don't think there is a high chance of him playing all 3 games. I may be wrong, but I think considering they play what, as you can see here, the fixture on the right hand side, well, you can't see it there, unfortunately, apologies, but the Heat play 1, 2, 3 games across 5, 6 days. So, yeah, it's a lot of game time, a lot of overs to bowl in 3 games across six days or thereabouts. So, for me, I think, he's probably at most going to play 2 games. Still alright as a double game round, I guess, but just with the fact that he is returning from injury does give me the heebie-jeebies. So I'd much prefer to save a bit of coin and potentially use that with round 2 in mind in terms of trying to afford Matt Short, who, as you can see here, isn't in my team. I would have loved to have started with him, but he would be on the bench otherwise. I could potentially afford him if I get rid of say a Richo or a Zampa. And speaking of which, both of those boys there, they have come in as direct replacements for Neser and for Rashid in my team. So those 2 guys, as I said, the Renegades, they really stand out to me considering they play the 5 games in the 3 rounds. So the chances of those guys scoring quite well and getting a team and season off to a flyer is quite high. Richo, just given his role as the death bowler, really does appeal. He's always good for at least 1, if not 2 wickets a game. So the double game round first up will kickstart his season. And Adam Zampa, he was one of the more informed bowlers across any team that was in the World Cup. And as a spin bowler, he's a valuable player, can play death overs, can play during the power play to really restrict the scoring rate of the opposing team and get a sneaky wicket here or there. So has, of course, crossed over from the Melbourne Stars to the Renegades, if you haven't kept up with the news, as you can see there. So both of those boys are standout options for me. But of course, we're here to look at some other options as well for you con folk that are tuning in. So let's, without further ado, check things out. And the other thing I did as well, I switched Hardy from my bowlers into my batters category just because it frees up, a couple of, because Neser was in my batsman category, so it frees up a couple of spots there in my bowlers category. So let's jump into things. In order to check out stats and stuff, you need to go into the trade back end of SuperCoach. You can't just click on players at the top there and get the breakdown. Unfortunately, it doesn't show you the stats, so we've got to pretend as if we're trading out a player. So here we go here. Let's sort things by ownership. And you'll see here, obviously, the most owned players. Neser's ownership is no doubt going to drop, considering he is missing the first 2 games of the 3 in the triple game round for the Heat. I guess the question still beggars, do you still select him considering he is going to play at least 1? He'll be freed up after the Prime Minister's 11. I think he's no different to any other single game player. So you could even go for a Daniel Sams if you're going to go down that route, which for me, as I always say, you've got to play to the fixture and really make the most of those teams that are on doubles outside of the Heat in round 1. So as you can see here, you'd no doubt have all these guys here. If you don't have a Marcus Stoinis for some reason, I'd be opting for him, saving, what's that, nearly 80k in comparison to Neser, so he's an obvious one. Glenn Maxwell as well, as you can see, 57% of team, overwhelmingly in the majority of teams in the competition. Outside of him, I'll be looking at Tom Curran. If you don't have him, has a double first up for the Sixers. Batter and bowler. If you haven't played Supercoach over the past few seasons, he has missed last year and majority of the tournament the season prior, I think, from memory. We'll flip those around. And he is someone that is just as effective and one of the more effective all-rounders in the game. So I would definitely consider him. Mitch Marsh won't be available, unfortunately. Daniel Sams, as I said, has been one of the more reliable bowlers, death bowlers, and can whack a nice sizable total with the bat. But of course, only on a single in round one, so it appeals lesser to me. Zampa, as I said, he should be right up there, and I think his ownership should grow off the back of especially Khan as well, for those people that have him, outside of those that have Neser or both. Ashton Agar, I don't think he'll play round one at this stage, still recovering from I think it was a quad strain. Abbott is someone that you should definitely consider. Is he the same price? No, he's 3k more expensive, or there. Wait, where is he? He's 3.6k more expensive than Neser. I would definitely consider him. It was the fourth highest scoring overall in Supercoach last year, and the top wicket taker last year. And he's taken the most wickets in BBL history, if memory serves correct as well. So he is someone that I think a lot of people should consider. Tom Curran may sort of cramp his style as a bit of a death bowler as well. May share the death bowler overs, I got there, towards the end of a match, which may encroach on Abbott's effectiveness in getting those easy wickets, but still nonetheless is someone that I'd love and think a lot of people should consider being on in round one, considering the Sixers have the double. Tanveer Sangha, he is my team. I had to take him out in order to get into this back end. Aaron Hardy I quite like on the Scorchers on the double. Was having a little bit of a niggle, but by reports is fit again, and was just absolutely incredible with the bat, and can pinch a wicket or two, as we saw last year. Massive scores. Sorry, apologies. Let me just move this across. There we go. Apologies for that. But yeah, as you can see there, really good, effective player. And his stats speak for themselves. Sutherland I also like as well. Came of age last season. Scored the 9th most Supercoach points last season, and really did well with the bat and with the ball. Super consistent, which was sort of the biggest knock on his game in seasons past, but was able to get some nice wickets. But outside of that, actually he hit some nice totals as well, as you can see there. So I do like him, and is, as you can see as well, an effective fielder. Loves a catch or two. So I do like him outside of my selections in Richo and Zampa. So he'd probably be third in line for me. Hayden Kerr I also like. Sixers on a double. He's probably one of their better all-rounders now, considering Dan Christian DC has retired. What did he finish? Yeah, 16th highest scorer overall last year. Petered out towards the end of the season from memory, but he is someone started the season on fire, and as you can see there, is good at least for a wicket or two. Jai Richardson I also like. Scorchers have the double first up. He has been battling injury for quite a while. Just made his return, I think, for WA it might have been. And we all know how effective he is. He's one of the more effective pace bowlers in BBL, and he is an absolute gun. Just around the ground, can smash the ball as well when need be at the tail end for the Scorchers. So really love him as an option, and just at his price point as well, he would be able to afford you a pretty much a like-for-like swap without having to pitch in any extra cash to Matt Short in round two if you wanted to take that route. So I like him as an option. Of course, Matt Short and the Strikers having a double in round two there that I'm referring to. Outside of those guys, Andrew Ty, I don't mind him. Similar mould to Kane Richo, but Ty... they only have the double in round one for the Scorchers. So, yeah, he is someone that I don't mind. You could potentially use him if you don't have as much cash to get in the likes of, say, a Jai Richardson here. You could settle for an Andrew Ty. Great death over bowler. Moving down the list, Nathan Ellis, they're not too big on because the Hurricanes don't have a double until all the way until round 7. So I'd be looking past him. Majib, you could look at him. From memory, his World Cup form wasn't the best. Got absolutely smashed by Maxi, of course, when the Aussies were playing Afghanistan. Berendorf as well, another sort of more expensive option. But I'd probably opt for Ty instead of him if you wanted to take that path. Menetti's an interesting one as well. I probably wouldn't play him on field, but you could stash him on your bench in preparation for the round 2 double for the strikers. So I don't mind that. He is cheaper, so you could potentially have him on the bench. Just speaking to the planning side of things when it comes to trades. Wildermuth is another one as well. I don't know where he stands now, but with the amount of players that have come out of the Heat side and playing in the Prime Minister's 11, he could be a wild card. So keep an eye on him in the lead into the season. No doubt we'll be chatting about him in one of the sort of last videos heading into the season if his name does pop up as an option, because he's another all-rounder. Even though he's named as a bowler, he is pretty handy with the bat. So keep him in mind. Outside of that, moving down the list, Xavier Bartlett potentially as well. Was a bit of a dynamo in seasons gone. Wes Agar, I don't feel confident in him because he was losing his spot last year, was in and out of the side. Steckity I don't mind, but again, as I said, Stars have the round 2 bye, so you could probably wait on him heading into round 3 if you wanted to go for him. Basley's an interesting one. I don't know where he's going to fit in the strikers lineup. You could potentially go on him early in anticipation for round 2, but probably wait. Jack Wood, yeah, another option as well on the triple for the Heat. And just with the Heat as well, I probably should mention that I wouldn't be going for any more than 4 Heat players, considering that the Heat have the bye in round 3. Sure, you have round 2 to get rid of the Heat players, and then obviously heading into round 3. But I think obviously round 2 you want to prioritise getting in strikers players, and then for round 3 prioritising getting in both Renegades and Stars players. Because they do both. They're really the only teams, as you can see there, with the double in round 3. So you don't really want to be worrying about getting rid of excess Heat players. So as you can see there, I am opting to go with 3 at this stage. Could go potentially just with 2, but I don't think I'd be going for 4 or more. But it's up to you guys, but in terms of just strategizing and trying to plan ahead when it comes to trades, I wouldn't be going beyond that mark. Tom Rogers I really like as well. Spoke of him in my Team Reveal 2.0 episode. If you hadn't seen it yet, was the 3rd highest scoring player in SuperCoach BBL last year. Again, was probably encroaching on the style of Kane Richardson a little bit as that death overs bowler. Really effective. And yeah, he's someone that is really, really economical as well. Dot balls galore. So I like that as well. A bit of a bonus. So he is someone that's in calculations for my team still, but it would eat into the salary that I have put aside in order to try and get Matt Short for round 2. So strategy-wise, I don't know if he's going to fit into my team, but I do like him as an option. Obviously, Renegades, again, I'll say it again, just got to drum it into you. Round 1 double, round 2 single, and a round 3 double. So 5 games in the first 3 rounds. Really love that. Dwarshuis is an option in and out of the side. Isn't as effective as what he has been in the past. Still can take a wicket or 2, but obviously 6s on the double first up. Doggett, I'd probably wait for him if you're going to go for a strikers player. Henry Thornton, again, I'd probably wait. Boyce as well is another sort of smoky. He's only 1% of teams. Again, I'd wait for, heading into round 2 to look at him, but you could potentially start him if you wanted to, but at that price point, you almost need to start him on field, and considering the strikers have a single game round in round 1, I wouldn't be starting with him personally. But just floating his name for round 2, of course. And then moving down the list, finally, that's it. So let's move quickly into the bats. Any outright bats here? Quinton de Kock as the DPP wicketkeeper batsman. Don't mind him. Again, spoke enough about the Renegades. 5 games, 3 rounds. But again, at that price point, and in 38% of teams, gives a little bit of security if he does start very, very slow and potentially has a bit of a shit start to the season. Even though he was very, very effective in the World Cup, it doesn't always translate into the BBL. And I think he's playing the T10 tournament, I think it is, or one of those tournaments heading into the BBL. So he's going to be overloaded with the amount of work that he has had to put in. So for me, I'll be looking elsewhere off the back of that. I just think he might be tanked. But nonetheless, he is a nice option if you want to look at him. I do like Jake Fraser-McGurk as a cheap option. He's still in calculations for my team on the bench. But as an outright batsman, it would mean that I'd need to, potentially lose McDermott, switch Whiteman into McDermott's spot in the wicketkeeper bench position, and then bring Jake Fraser-McGurk onto the bench in the bats category. So still waiting to see how he fits into the Renegades lineup. They're absolutely stacked. So at this stage, I'm going to wait and see. But no doubt he is a nice little cash cow if he can play the first 2 games in round 1. Outside of that, I think everyone should be looking at Sam Billings. He should be a higher ownership percentage. If you haven't got him, I'd be looking at him as one of your triple game players for the Heat in round 1. Now with Pearson out as well, he is playing the first 2 games of the Heat's first round game in the Prime Minister's 11. So Billings may get the gloves in at least those first 2 games, and Pearson will potentially take the gloves back when he returns for the 3rd game in round 1. So I think everyone should be looking very, very closely at Sam Billings, so I don't mind him. If you go Neser down to Billings, it's going to save you around about 75 to 80k, loosely off the top of my head. Tom Curran, as I spoke of him, super reliable. Daniel Sam, single game round, spoke of him as well. Who else haven't I spoken about? Spoke about Hardy. Munro, if you haven't got him, I think he should be in more teams. I think he's a very high likelihood of playing all the 3 games in the triple game round first up for the Heat. So I like him, albeit he might... Is he playing in the T10 competition? Maybe. If he is, then he might fall into the same category as de Kock potentially. But in terms of looking at quality Heat players, I think he should be top of the list at the moment without Neser. Cooper Connolly spoke about him. He could be replacing Agar and come in bat middle order and bowl potentially 3, if not the full 4 overs. Spoke of Sutherland. Matty Wade, nope. Hayden Kerr spoke of him. Josh Brown, I don't mind him. I'd be playing him and potentially looping him off the bench if you want to go down that road. Could be a nice cash cow if he gets off to a flyer. Moving down the list, McSweeney's playing in the Prime Minister's 11. Likewise, Renshaw. Bo Webster, again, Stars have the bye in round 2, so wouldn't be going for him. Joe Clark, again, don't mind him. Stars, 5 games, 3 rounds. You've heard it all before. But he's probably a little bit down the list. Chris Lynn, I wouldn't be going for him as yet. I'd maybe consider him going into round 2 for the Strikers double. Moving down the list, Paul Walter. He is someone that's an interesting one. I want to reserve comment on him. I just want to do a little bit more research on him, but he could potentially come into calculations now with the likes of, as I spoke of, Neser, Pearson, Renshaw, McSweeney, and the like. He could now he could get a nice opportunity with the ball, but also with the bat as well. So he's one I'm keeping an eye on. That's about it, I reckon. Madison, it could be a cheap option, but no. Jack Wood is another one. But again, reserve until we hear more information about how they line up. Just quickly going down the list here, I might be missing a few players, but as you can see there with ownership, it kind of tells the tale as well. There's no real secrets here when it comes to SuperCoach. That's about it, I think. So hopefully there's enough players there that I've outlined. But for me, I'd be prioritising the likes of, the Renegades players, Richo, Zampa, de Kock, a little bit down the order. Sutherland is one that I really like. So I guess in essence, outright bowlers, DPP players, those are the guys to target. Look at the Renegades. Joe Clark, a little bit down the list though. And And in terms of sort of preparing for, double game rounds, the whole reason I'm talking about, replacement players, as if you want to go down that route, I'd be going for the Renegades, as you can see there. Stars, fraught with danger with the bye. Strikers, you can go down the road of loading up on some strikers, but you'll have to stomach whatever they score in the single game round first up. But it might put you ahead of the pack if you have more strikers than others. But again, you can't go too overboard because of the bye in round 3, so it kind of puts a cap on it. So off the back of that, I wouldn't be going down the strikers route. Just to summarise, Renegades 100% then my number one team to recruit replacements from. Stars, lesser so, unless you've got good sort of cover for round 2. It would put you ahead of the pack for round 3 if you had more stars, because of course they have another double off the back of that in round 5. So you could load up on them early. So if I was to rank it in terms of players to go for, and then Thunder as well, you could potentially go early and start loading up on the likes of Sams and stuff. But again, you're going to have to stomach what they score in the single game rounds early on, unless you're able to loop their scores on if you have a non-playing player. So for me, I'd be targeting Renegades, kind of strikers and stars. Strikers have a ceiling on how many players you can get. And likewise with the stars to an extent because of their bye in round 2. So you'd need enough cover. So you'd need to sort of work out machinations with your team and as to whether or not you can have cover or enough cover for those stars that are on the bye in round 2. But then heading into round 3, you've got the double as well. So you could really, really put you ahead of the pack if you wanted to go down that route, but it is risky. Hence the reason why I like the Renegades. And then down the list is the Thunder, ahead of their round 4 double. But for me, I think you can probably hold off on loading up on Thunder players and use the first 3 rounds to sort of build out a bit more of a team with Thunder players leading into their round 4 double. So that's pretty much it. Hopefully that was comprehensive enough. If you have any questions, as always, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Always happy to help, of course. Got quite a few good questions coming through in the previous video. And of course, if you haven't checked out the explanation and breakdown of what my team looks like now, feel free to go back and check out my team reveal 2.0 updated video. So go and check that out. Before we sign off, go and check it. These extra incentives. Go and check out the previous video where I go through my updated team, because within that video, I've dropped the code to the next league. 20 spots. How many is that? That was way too many. 20 spots in my league, my updated team. So go and check out the code for that. I'm not going to drop it in this video. I'm going to prompt you to go back and check it out. And also, if you haven't checked out our updated league code for the group, it is in that video as well. So it is an unlimited group. So if you're not involved in that, jump on in. We might try and organize a prize. If we can, hit the 1K subscriber mark. So if we can, we'll celebrate with that also. And we are, of course, once we hit the 1K subscriber mark, doing a giveaway. So check that out. Subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks again so much for your support. You've been absolutely awesome. And we'll check in for the next video. So we'll see you then. Same time, same place. We'll catch you then. Cheers.